Bonjour everyone. Also Gishko Indigenous Bikajunang Dunjaba, Jikando Dem, Anishinaabe Kwe, Budawanami, Minawa Odawa Kwe and Dao. Hi everyone. Before I begin, I just want to make it clear that I'm speaking today as an elected counselor for Walpole Island unceded Anishinaabe First Nation, but not on behalf of Chieftain Council as a whole, unless otherwise stated. So these are my own views, and I'm speaking from my heart, out of a responsibility and a duty to be transparent with the community. Nothing I share here should be considered legal advice or an official policy. This is about accountability, as well as dialogue and respect for all of you. So I want to say Chimigwech to all of you for being here and for listening. I know there's been a lot of concern lately, and I feel it too, in regards to external policies, Bill 5, Bill C5, the First Nations Clean Water Act, which is being proposed. So recently, and if I'm being honest, this has happened through July 23rd council meeting where I was asked to chair. There was an agenda item in our agenda for July 2023. The Potawatomi Economic Summit agenda was placed into our council agenda on July 23rd. And one of the items on there was Article of Confederation of the Potawatomi. So this is something that was being discussed and brought forward at the Potawatomi gathering recently. However, the Article of Confederation was also not included in our package. So recently at the Potawatomi gathering, I witnessed our chief sign an agreement and something called an article that says our nation is aligned with federal, provincial, and state policies. This was done without council's full discussion or consent and without any conversations with community beforehand. So as a counselor, and more importantly, as a member of our First Nation, I think I have some issues with this, and I find it deeply problematic. When I accepted this role, it was out of a commitment to stand with all of us, to stand with you, our people, to protect our sovereignty and uphold public trust that you've placed in me. So personally, I don't agree with what was signed or how it was signed. I think even more problematic is probably the procedure in which it was signed. So decisions like this, with wide-reaching implications, should never be made behind closed doors. So I know many of you are asking, does this mean we're now under laws that go against our beliefs, like Bill 5, or what's happening with the Dresden landfill, what's happening with Boralex, what's happening with Hydro 1, the St. Clair transmission line? Could this impact our rights to protest peacefully? And most of all, how does this align with what we've always stood for, our nation's values, Chinaakinigewin, our spiritual and our ancestral opposition to colonial law? So these are not small questions. These are questions about who we are and where we're going. So I've raised these concerns through the proper channels, and I will keep doing that. But I also believe it's important that you hear from council directly. So not just through rumors or glossy omissions, I like to say, where it's kind of like spun in a certain way to make it sound all glossy, but there's a lot of facts that are omitted. So, but face-to-face human interaction. So I'm here to say, I see what's happening and I share your concerns. And I believe we can only move forward through open conversation, ceremony and unity, not silence or top-down decisions. I also want to respectfully ask our chief, Leela, to explain to the community why this was signed and what it means for us. We deserve clarity, we deserve honesty, and I'll continue to stand for transparency, accountability, and the values that make our nation strong. So I'm open to hearing your thoughts, answering what I can, and walking this journey with you together. Myself, I would love to be at the Dresden, the opposition to the Dresden landfill peaceful human chain this Sunday, but I'm wondering what are the implications of that signing of that Potawatomi Article of Confederation, saying that we agree to policies of provincial, federal, and state law. How do we stand with Project 2025 in the US, considering the document was signed with federal tribes in the US? So I don't know. Chimiigwech for listening, and thank you for caring, and my door is open. Chimiigwech.